Diversity is not about color. It's not about culture. It's not about class. It is about commitment. And it is about consciousness. It is about people, regardless of where you come from, regardless of your age, who say, you know, we have a commitment. We believe that all people have something to offer. And we are willing to take the time, the energy, to create that multicultural space in our communities, in our leadership programs, and in our organizations. My goal today is to get you really revved up and excited about the contributions that diversity are making to our country. The first one is about the Latino community, and it is called Salsa. Salsa is, of course, a racy condiment that passed ketchup as America's favorite in the 1990s. And salsa is a great metaphor for diversity because there's so many different kinds of salsa. And every time you make salsa, it's a little bit different, right? And that depends on the tomatoes and the onions and your recipe and whether you blend it or you chop it. But the wild card in salsa is the jalapeno. Because jalapenos come in 3 sizes. There's mild, there's medium, and there's ay chihuahua. And see, Latinos know that you approach jalapeno just like you approach every individual in the world with respeto, respect. And you take a teeny weeny bite to find out if it's mild or medium or ay chihuahua. Many of us have seen somebody take a big bite out of a jalapeno and we just kind of roll our eyes, cross ourselves, and hope for the best. But salsa is also a great dance, right? It's a craze that's going across America. Quick, quick pause, 8 beats in all. Because it's a fusion music, just like Latinos are a fusion culture. Fusion African drums and maracas, which are Indian rattles, and the Spanish guitar, right? And so it's an incredible fusion music. But salsa is also a way of life. To have salsa en la vida, to have salsa in your life means to go for the gusto, right? To enjoy life, to have good relationships with people, your family, your community, to have passion about what you do. So Latinos are bringing salsa to America. They are reinvigorating America's core. Latinos come in all colors, right? They are a fusion culture, not a race, much like the Jewish community. We're an ethnic group. And we're mainly a fusion between indigenous people of this hemisphere and the European, mainly Spanish. So Latinos are black, white, yellow, brown. There's Chino Latinos and Latinos. 15% of our community are black. There's Anglo-Latinos. There's Sephardic Jews that are Latinos. There's Arabs that are Latinos. My daughter is Carmen O'Connor. She's a Leprechauno Latino. Right? So we have all the colors of the rainbow in our own families. And Latinos have been called the cosmic race, la raza cósmica, because they are a blend, they are mestizos. And they have that vibrancy of a hybrid culture, of a fusion culture. And if Latinos, if we can, we come from 23 different countries also. And if Latinos, if we can bring diversity to our own community, what leadership experts are saying is diversity is the biggest challenge of this century. Then we can be a model for diversity and help this country really embrace all its people, because we are diversity. Think of the concept of soul, where African Americans, when they were brought here in chains, there was a discussion, are they human? Do they have a soul? And so our Constitution said, oh, they have 2/3 of a soul, right? And this ability to describe people in this way was the rationalization for slavery in this country. And yet leadership is about transformation, yeah? It's about transformation. And you see a community here who transformed the concept of soul into the very essence of their culture. right? Soul brothers, soul food, soul music. The spiritual essence of the black community, of their soul, allowed them to overcome, allowed them to keep on keeping on, allowed them to become a vibrant force in America that has revolutionized and transformed American culture. So what is soul? Soul is, first of all, resiliency. And resiliency is a leadership trait, and a trait our country needs, right? You know, resiliency. Somebody leaves your organization. Resiliency. You get a new boss. Resiliency. You know, my last daughter just left home. Resiliency. The whole idea of being able to bounce back, to be able to be vibrant regardless of the changes around us, to be resilient. So in the African American community, they would say, if it doesn't kill you, it'll make you stronger. And Martin Luther King said, out of the bottomless pit, our vitality and our spirituality and our belief, that's what allowed us to survive. And so we also see that African Americans have this thing called relatedness, much like the Latino community. In the institution of slavery, black families were torn apart, and so they didn't know who their relatives were. Transformation. We will make everybody our brothers and sisters. We will take a child and we will raise that child, regardless of who that child belongs to. We will become cousins. And you can see that in African Americans when they meet each other. They may not know each other, but they recognize that bond of relatedness, that through their common history, you know, their race and their experiences, they are related. And you also see in another gift that I think is perhaps the greatest gift that African Americans bring, and we saw this also in South Africa, the gift of reconciliation. And what an important attribute for America and for leaders to have, that ability to forgive, right? To work side by side with people who perhaps have hurt you or haven't recognized your talents. American Indians bring the concept of identity. So when you meet an American Indian, a Lakota, a Sioux, a Cherokee, an Apache, the first thing they want to know is, what tribe are you? How do you identify yourself? And this idea of identity, an important leadership thing, right? To know who you are, to know what you stand for and where you come from. And that strong identity, even though American Indians, again, have a history where they were taken apart and put onto reservations, that strong identity as a tribal person and as an American Indian survives for 500 years. American Indians also believe in inspiration, in vision, right? The substance of leadership. They believe in prophecy, right? And dreams. And what an incredible gift to have our inspiration in this country, to believe in our future, to believe in our dreams, to have a vision for where we're going as people, and to have that vision in your organizations and in your communities, right? The idea of inspiration. And again, just like the other communities, American Indians are connected, right? They're connected. We're all family. American Indian Cherokees, Lakotas greet each other. Mikatuyi Owasin. We are relatives. That's how they say hello. The three principles of leadership in communities of color are the leader among equal, the leader as the guardian of public values, and the leader as community steward. And I'm just going to show you a few quotes by some of the leaders I interviewed. This is Raul Izaguirre, the great civil rights leader and the organizational builder of the Latino community in the last century, building the National Council of La Raza. And this is the leader as equal. Latinos treasure values such as hard work and faith, which can be found in many cultures. But there's also a sense of humility, modesty, and courtesy. That means a truly complete human being, a leader, is a successful person is one who treats the shoeshine boy and the maid with the same kind of dignity and respect that he affords the CEO or the president of a company. The leader as equal means that you treat every single person with that same respect, that same dignity, and that you level the playing field. The leader as equal means that you remain an ordinary person as you continue to serve your community and grow in your leadership. Leadership is a communal responsibility with a concern for the welfare of the tribe or the people, and then sharing the work that needs to be done based on skills and abilities. Leadership is shared responsibility and promoting people's well-being. Now think of what kind of a country, what kind of an organization, what kind of communities we would have if our leaders said, we are here to work hand in hand with you as an equal to share responsibility for the benefit and the welfare of the people in our communities and country. This is Mayor Frederica Pena about community stewardship. When I was mayor, I always invited people to participate and be part of the solution. There was a great deal of community involvement. People would say, why is the mayor putting together another task force? Well, I understood that you get things done by involving people and working as a community. Now people reflect back and say, by having that task force, you saved 15 years. When people become part of the effort, they want to support the effort, and then they are shaping their destiny. And this has become true because of the tremendous advancement that our community has made and continues to make because of his leadership. We've talked about how those of us in community leadership, we want to build community, right? We want to weave that sense of belonging with our people. Well, out of communities of color comes this thing called the cosmology of connectedness, the family, the tribe, the community, brothers, sisters. And so we're going to talk, we're going to face our partners, and we're going to do these sayings that come out of different cultures so that we can experience this. The first one is wakatli. Say to your person, wakatli. So now you're a Nahuatl Indian from Mexico. Most Latinos that are Mexicans have Nahuatl blood. And you would greet each other by saying wakatli. And wakatli means, say to your person, we are brothers, sisters, we are kin. Wakatli. The second one comes out of South Africa, the philosophy of Ubuntu. Ubuntu. Ubuntu means I am only a person because of other people. I am only a person because of other people. Then, of course, in the Latino community, like we said, you can become a comadre, a compadre, a madrina, a madrino. You become part of the familia, right? So if you're looking and working with another man, you would say, hola, compadre. If you're with a woman, you would say, hola, comadre. And if you're comfortable, you know, and if you're comfortable, you can give that person an abrazo, which means like a hug. Hola, comadre, hola, compadre. That's the traditional way Latinos greet each other. All right, going back to Africa, the Zulus were great warriors. So put your hand up, let me see. Leaders have to be warriors sometimes, don't we? And they would see each other and they would say, umpakate. We are all together on the inside. Umpakate! Umpakate. And then on the Nicaraguan coast where I'm from, it's a very multicultural coast. And we have the black Indians. They're called Mosquito Indians. And when they greet each other, they beat their heart. They put their hands to their heart. And they say, kumbia, kume, kumbia, kume. We are one heart. All of these cultures are saying we are relatives. All right, so now in the Cherokee, Lakota, and Sioux Indian tradition, we would say to our partner, Mikatuye Oasin. We are relatives.